Good evening. Welcome to Slow It Down Sunday. Hello. Come on in. So glad you scheduled in your time today to be with us. Thank you for joining me on Slow It Down Sunday. I am your host, Arlene Connelly-Drummond, and every Sunday at 7 p.m., we come together in this place at this moment that we set aside for ourselves to reclaim our time, to replenish, to restore, to revive, to renew, to recalibrate ourselves in preparation for the week ahead. It is a time where we truly do what this title says. We slow it down. We take it down several notches and we relax. We unwind from the busyness and the hurriedness of our days and our weeks, and we take breath and we take time for us. And so I'm so happy that you are prioritizing yourself and taking time to slow down. You know, that's the call and the mandate that God shared with me. He said, Arlene, slow it down. He said, change the pace of your movement, otherwise you will not endure to the end. And I know I heard that in my spirit, and so I'm paying attention and I'm being very aware. And while slowing down can be a challenge for many of us, it's a challenge for me. It is still something that we can intentionally do because it really does fuel us. It really does give us focus. It gives us still something direction. It gives us clarity. And I know for me, clarity is important. Focus is necessary. And I want to make sure that I am moving in the right direction. And so slowing down allows me to think. It allows me to process. It allows me to reflect. It allows me to take deeper breaths and to just appreciate the awesome God that we serve. And I'm just so excited to be here today and spend this time with you. So, as you can tell, I am relaxing. I'm really learning to practice this thing called slowing it down. And it's a good feeling when we just pause. And so, I'm sitting here tonight and have a subject that I prepared for today as I was pondering what would I talk to you about today. each time we get together, it's to really help us build this muscle, right? On what does it really mean to slow down? How do we practice that? How do we make that a habit? How do we really recalibrate our minds to understand that slowing down does not mean we're being unproductive, that we're being lazy, right? This time that we're intentionally changing the pace of our movement is a calculated move. It is a strategic move, and it is something that allows us to really be more productive, because when we come out of this more mellow, relaxed pace, we find ourselves having that greater sense of clarity where we're able to move with a greater sense of purpose. And so tonight I wanted to talk to you about alignment. And what does it mean for us to be in alignment? And don't know about you, but have you ever felt that you are moving? You're constantly busy. You're doing a lot. Your schedules are packed. You are what we call busy. But you still don't feel like you're moving. You're still not feeling productive. You're still not feeling like you're reaching closer to your goals. You kind of almost feel like that hamster on the wheel that is just moving, but you're not really going anywhere. I know I have felt that many times in my life, where my schedule is packed and things are moving very fast and I'm continually busy. But then I ask myself, am I being productive? Am I doing things that are on purpose? Am I operating in alignment? Where alignment means that my actions are in sync with my values, standards, beliefs, my goals, with the things that I'm seeking to accomplish, with the quality of life that I'm desiring to live, with being more the person I am deciding and desiring to be. Are my actions truly aligning so that as I'm moving in accordance and my steps are moving in a direction that gets me closer to my destination, closer to my goal? You know, today I had the privilege and the honor of being in service, and our guest speaker at the Faith Center Church today was none other than Bishop T.D. Jakes. And it was so awesome when he shared the message today, because the message correlates with my message to you tonight. And so I'm speaking to you about alignment. And Bishop Jakes today talked about rhythm. And I'm just it was confirmation for me that when he talked about us having a rhythm, that life has a rhythm, right? And there's a movement. And it's similar to being in alignment. Being in alignment is the calculated process and moves that I'm making that connects to God's purpose for my life, my goals, my dreams, my aspirations, and me, you, us being the best version of ourselves, and making sure that we are working and moving each day with being us, being me, being you, how we're doing that. And so I was so thankful. It was such an awesome word and an awesome time. And so I'm feeling extra full this evening by that message that was shared today in both services. And so I'm really thankful for this opportunity to help us unpack. What does it mean for us to move in alignment? So if we know that when we're in alignment, right, our decisions and our actions have a fluidity to it, right? We are able to make our calculated moves. We find that our steps are moving in a direction that is purposeful and intentional. We find that we're able to have a clarity that we are not being reactionary when things are happening, but we are being intentional. We find that even when negative situations and circumstances happen, we are still able to move, and we're able to make responsive decisions and not reactionary decisions. When we are operating in alignment, that there is a peace that's in our choices and our actions and in our yeses and in our nos. I've said that to you before. There is something when I am truly moving in alignment means am I connecting with my core values, the vision and the goals for my life? Are the decisions and action I'm making keeping me at an even pace towards God's vision and plan for me? And so alignment is so critically important, because what we can find ourselves doing if we are out of alignment, that we are really moving and operating based on someone else's blueprint and not necessarily our own. We are sometimes mimicking other people's agenda. We are being reactionary to other people's issues and challenges and things that are happening outside of ourselves. So alignment is so critically important. And I wanted us to do this check-in tonight as we're talking about how we slow it down. This thing about alignment supports our ability to slow down, because it allows us to really think. Yeah. It allows us to ensure that we are being very intentional when we are in alignment. And so I want you to check with yourself. Are there areas in your lives in which you can say, I am operating in alignment, or my life is out of alignment in certain areas? I want you to do a pulse check. Do a introspective check in your life. Look at your work, your family, your relationships. Look at the things that you care about, your friendships, right? And look at them with a very open eye and ask yourself, are these areas in my life bringing me joy? Do they fulfill me? Do I feel a sense of happiness? Am I feeling drained when I'm interacting in these spaces or interacting in these relationships and situations and time frames? Or am I feeling renewed and revived and excited when I'm in my various relationships, when I'm in my work, when I'm doing whatever it is? So for me, I know when I'm in my place of purpose. I know when I'm operating in my place of alignment. Things move with a fluidity that is different. The resistance for execution, even though it may be there, even though resistance or obstacles or things may be there, because I'm operating in alignment, there's a pace in which I move, and there's also a sense of authority and confidence in which I move, because I know I'm moving and I'm doing those things that are in alignment with my life, in alignment with my purpose. And so I really want to ask you to process that. Ask yourself the question, are there areas in my life that are out of alignment, where I am feeling drained and depleted? It doesn't serve me. I feel that I am what you would say, sometimes I'm coming up next to a brick wall, and every time I'm trying to move, there's resistance, and there's lots of friction, right? Friction and resistance is part of life, yes, but there is a thing when you are constantly in a place of friction where you want to ask yourself, am I doing this in alignment with who I am, who I aspire to be? Am I doing what is in my best interest, right? So alignment is critically important, because when I am thinking about my slowing it down, right? And we're asking ourselves, why slow down, Arlene? Why should I embrace this time and this opportunity to give my body rest, to find more time for breath? Why am I doing that? Why is that important? Because we have made a conscious decision that we want to, I know for me, continually improve the quality of my life, and ensuring that I create more space for joy, more space for peace, that those things are important to me. And so when you identify what is important to you, you may say, spending time with my family is important to me. So when I am faced with a decision that interferes with my family time, I have the opportunity to weigh those actions to be able to say, if I made a commitment to family here, and I know that this is a priority for me, this is something that I'm intentionally working on, then this event or activity that may take me away from this quality time that I want to invest in with my family, it may be an easier decision for me to make, to say, I'm not available for this activity at this time, because my alignment tells me that this time that I have committed to spending with my family takes precedence over another activity. Does that make sense? Right? So think about the power of alignment and how you can check in with yourself to see if the things that you're doing in your life are really connecting with who you are. So that's some points down here that I wanted to share with you. When you are in alignment, there's a sense of peace that arises. I said your decisions are intentional and not reactionary. When we're out of alignment, sometimes we find ourselves feeling stuck, drained, or frustrated. I know I've experienced that before. I'm constantly forcing things to work instead of the flow of things with ease. That I could say yes to things that don't really serve me. And only because I want to avoid conflict, not because they are the things that I am passionate or interested in doing. I'm just trying to avoid conflict. And sometimes I'm feeling disconnected from my passion and my purpose if I'm out of alignment. And we often have lots of roadblocks. But if we wanted to make sure we're operating in alignment, there's a couple of things that we must do. First and foremost, and this is something I've been speaking with you about, check in. Make sure you are clear about what are your core values. What are the things that are most important to you? Your non-negotiables. The things that you have said, I draw my line in the sand, that these are the things that I don't negotiate on because they are critical to me. So I don't negotiate on my faith. I don't negotiate on family, right? I'm not negotiating on my time with the Lord. There's certain things that I'm not negotiating time with. And so I want you to think about and write down for yourself your 5 top core values that are critically important to you. and that you want to make sure that as you are making decisions in your life, that this is the prism in which you evaluate the things that you decide to choose to focus on. Because in focusing on them, I want to make sure that I have chosen items in my prism that are in alignment with my core values. The other thing you want to do is you want to really look at your daily routine in your life, right? And really look at those areas in your life in which you want to make sure things are operating in sync. Okay? We talked about our job, our family. If you aspire to have a family life that, like for me, my home is a peaceful place. My home is a place where I like joy. This is something my husband and we talk about. Home is a peaceful place. It's even as I was raising my daughter, I would always talk about that home is a peaceful place. Home is a safe place. And so the home is a place where we have laughter and we have joy, and where we can be ourselves and we can be comfortable and we can be relaxed and we don't have to be pretentious. We are truly in our comfort zone in our home. And in order for that to happen, we have to be intentional about curating our space, right? And so I want you to really think about whatever that is that you want to be in alignment with, right? And you want to make sure that your life is moving in a direction that is not in chaos, right? The opposite of chaos is alignment. Getting yourself in a pace and a rhythm. And I love to move with God. I don't want to move against God's assignment, God's intention, God's purpose. I really want to make sure that I'm operating at a pace and I don't move out of alignment. I remember one time someone asked me, how did I endure certain situations in my life at different phases? And I remember I was telling them that I know when I'm on assignment, when I'm on a God assignment, and I'm going to check in with God before I make a move, because I want to stay in alignment with His plan and His purpose for my life. Finding peace in the middle of your journey, moments like this where you are removing distractions and allowing yourself to think and to process and to breathe, to inhale, to exhale. It's so critically important that you honor your breath. All of that is part of us operating in alignment. When I'm in alignment, I also create healthy boundaries, right? I have the opportunity to create healthy boundaries that protects my peace. What are you doing in your life to make sure you are creating healthy boundaries? When we set boundaries, it is not for the other people to make sure it's being honored. It's not for anyone else. Boundaries are for us, right? It's for you. It's for me. For you to determine these are the things that I have decided are critical for me. And so I am going to protect my boundaries. I'm going to honor my boundaries. I'm going to honor the commitments I make to myself, right? So I really want you to make sure that you are honoring your boundaries, right? And then the other thing is trust timing. Trust the timing, God's timing. The Lord has told me about pace, stride, to really be mindful of my pace and my movement and the way we are operating in life. And He said we have the opportunity to move with confidence, with boldness, with assurance, because we know that God got us, right? And so really ensuring that you trust divine timing and know that for everything there is a season, there's a timing for things. Part of Bishop Jake's talk about this morning that we have a tendency to make seasonal decisions that have a long-term implication on our lives. And I really want us to make sure that we're not making moves that have us boxed in or confined, but that we are keeping ourselves in that place of connecting to our purpose, connecting to our values, connecting to our goals, being connected to our vision. That clarity of who you are, where you're going, the purpose behind your life, that helps you stay in alignment because you find yourself operating by your blueprint and not someone else's. So when I think about this work that we are doing called living, I think about how can we not just take this 30 minutes on a Sunday to slow down? How do we ensure that during the course of our days, our weeks, that we are actually being intentional? As you're planning for your week ahead, what are some of the things that you're doing that will allow you to maintain your alignment, that will allow you to stay steadfast on your goals, that ensuring that the actions that you take connect with your purpose, plan, and vision, and it aligns with your values? That is so important because sometimes we will find ourselves in places where people, situations, and circumstance can derail us from who we are, derail us from our vision, derail us from our goals, derail us from our aspirations because we are feeling the weight of other people's opinions. We're feeling the weight of challenges that are happening in the moment. We're feeling the weight of responsibility. We're feeling the weight of other people's expectations. And we're feeling the weight, right, of other people's priorities that are placed on us. And I really want to encourage you that no one can't just place things on me unless I accept it. Can we take some ownership back for our lives? That I have the power to control what's happening in this space called me. And I'm not going to allow anyone to just put their weight on me. And I'm not saying that this is something easy for us to do. This requires us to be very alert. It requires us to practice building this muscle of how we protect our peace. Because if we're allowing people to put their negative energy, to put their issues and their challenges and their perspectives and their opinions and all of those things, that to cloud our sense of who we are, our sense of clarity, our sense of direction. Even we can find people, because we may have allowed them into our circle, can derail us from our goals, our visions, and our dreams, because they can plant their own seeds of doubt and unbelief and sense of not being qualified or not being fully equipped, right? So protecting our pace, our space is so critically important as we navigate this space. So as you're stepping into your new week, we are stepping into another week, right? And as you're stepping into this new week, I want you to really think about, how am I moving into this week in a greater sense of alignment with my priorities, with the goals that I have identified, with clarity around the purpose that the Lord has for my life, with an understanding of my divine assignment, with an understanding that even when I am not feeling like I want to do the things that are on my plate, or I am not feeling motivated or energized at any particular time, that because I am operating in alignment, right, I have the ability to recalibrate myself, to remind myself my why. Why am I doing the thing that I am setting out to do that at the moment I'm not finding the energy or the spirit to get it done? What was the reason I'm on this journey or I'm on this assignment? I have the opportunity to recalibrate and really ensure and pull myself back where? In alignment. So, your assignment this week: identify areas in your life in which you know are out of alignment. You're not finding peace in that area. You're not finding joy in that area. And there are many areas of resistance and tension in that area. You have the opportunity to say, I'm intentional about getting this area in my life back into alignment. And then you may also find, as you are doing your assessment this week, there are some things I need to shift out of my life because it no longer serves me. I encourage you to maximize your moments, your time, your energy, your peace, by ensuring that you do things and you're operating at a place where alignment is present in your life and you are moving with a rhythm that brings you peace, that brings you joy, that brings you fulfillment, and that connects you to your purpose. Let's not allow anything to distract us and derail us, but let us stay focused on our plan. Let us do the things that give us joy. Let us find more time for laughter. And as you slow down tonight and you find time to slow down throughout the week, I'm going to say, family, breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe in joy, breathe in peace, breathe in laughter, and just shrug off the spirit of stress and operate in your divine alignment. This is Arlene Connelly-Drummond saying, have a phenomenal week as we embrace the possibilities that lay ahead. See you next Sunday on Slow It Down Sundays. Like and subscribe and invite others to be with us in this space. Looking forward to our conversation next week, and I hope that you have a blessed and phenomenal week. Bye-bye.